Hey everyone. I analyzed 1,000 online comments to get an idea of what people felt about tomorrow's verdict in the Daniel Penny chokehold trial. I wanted to know, do most people think he'll be found not guilty or guilty, and why? I also thought this would be interesting because a sample size like this could be an indicator of which way the jury might go tomorrow. And I want to get it on record before the verdict is out, what my prediction is. So let's jump right into it. So, of these 1,000 online comments, this is the breakdown of not guilty versus guilty. And it came out to about a 2.6 to 1 ratio. So, pretty much overwhelming support for the not guilty verdict. And let's kind of see how this breaks down into categories. So, on the not guilty side, most people referenced self defense, and they thought that Daniel Penny was justified in his use of self defense and his use of force in this scenario. New York state law, self defense law, does have a section that says you can use a reasonable amount of force if there's imminent danger to others. So it's actually not just yourself, but there is a little part that mentions danger to others. And a lot of folks were referencing that. Coming in at number 2, system failure. So this was where people were referencing the legal system, even politics. And they were saying that, it's the legal system's failure to keep folks who may be a danger to the public off the streets. And they caused this scenario to happen because, perhaps they were too lenient. Okay. That's, their argument, not mine, by the way. But I just thought it would be interesting to report that quite a few comments were mentioning that. Next up, they were saying, Neely was a clear threat to those around him. He had some threatening words, and there were a number of witness accounts that said they were quite scared and weren't entirely sure of what was going to happen next. So this kind of relates back to the self-defense argument at the top. Next up was medical evidence. So people were referencing the defense expert, or maybe it was experts who were commenting that the chokehold really wasn't the primary cause of death or the cause of death at all. It was other factors. And then finally, we have, Jordan Neely, when police come upon him well after Daniel Penny had let go of the chokehold, he had a pulse. And, quite a few people were commenting on that, and that was impacting their sway toward not guilty. Let's talk about the guilty arguments. So coming in at the top here was use of excessive force. From what people could see and what they learned about the case, they thought that Daniel Penny was excessive here and he didn't need to use a chokehold. If you're interested in a detailed analysis, I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for well over 13 years. I've got some expertise here, and I just released today a 55-minute breakdown of the video footage that I have. Next up is time held too long. So basically, these folks are saying that Daniel Penny held the choke way, way too long. And again, if you feel this way, I would highly recommend my video because we go over this in detail. Warnings ignored. Quite a few folks were mentioning that bystanders were calling out for Penny to let go and you're hurting him, you're choking him, that kind of thing. No weapon present. So there were some that were upset that Jordan Neely was unarmed. And again, this one would relate back to excessive force. He was unarmed, he was tackled, he was, put in a chokehold, and they thought that that was, not appropriate. And then the final bit of commenting was on Daniel Penny's military training. As far as I know, he was a Marine. I know that he had some jiu-jitsu training. I believe he said he made it to green belt. Now, that's typically a kid's belt, but the military jiu-jitsu system, I'm sure, is a little bit different than the one I've been through. But I know this has been widely reported in the news, that he had military training, he was a Marine, and people were commenting on this, almost like saying that he should have known better. He should have been able to adjust his use of force accordingly. And when he had Neely down and controlled, there was no reason to apply the chokehold. But just a quick video, and I want to get on record here as saying I believe tomorrow's verdict will be not guilty. That's going to be my official prediction. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and please feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts on this case and your prediction. I want to know which way you think it's going to go tomorrow. I'll see you in the next video, and have a great night.